Welcome everyone! Game number 1 in our best of 5, the grand final of the Legendary Cup. We're gonna go over what the Legendary Cup is in just a moment, but let's introduce the two teams first. 4B1B on our first map, Battlefield of Eternity, starting off to the left in blue with Transparent on Malfurion, Light on Liming. We have Halcyon on Sylvanas, the Octa on ETC, and Speely on Arthurs. And over to the right side, Night Pride with Ildeon on Jaina, Anubis on Reyna, Joe the Pro on Imperius, and we have Twinkle on Ana and Aelon on Nuburak. Alright, Legendary Cup. So, Legendary Cup is one of the end-of-season tournaments for the amateur scene in Heroes launch. And in this particular grand final, we have two Division 2 teams going up against each other in a best-of-5. We're going to also jump into the Mythic Championship later today, which is the Division 1 teams playing against each other. But this was the grand final of the series. So, we already had a group stage here. And then obviously the playoffs, and we ended up in the grand final. Now, a lot of the matches we actually didn't cover, but especially the grand final here, I still wanted to make sure to bring to all of you, not only on Twitch, but also for everybody that's watching on YouTube right now. And especially if you watch on YouTube, make sure that you hit that like button on the video if you enjoy the commentary and the videos there in the past. Definitely helps also to promote the videos a little bit and get the channel growing for the future. But in this case, we're going to have a closer look at the two teams as they're striving for the victory in this final series of the tournament. So Legendary Cup starts us off with Sylvanas and the Unfurling Shadows on the bot lane. We're having up to the top, or 1 versus 1. Oftentimes what you actually see is one of the teams just getting one hero split off towards the top lane and then trying to take the top Khaldor camp. In this case though, both of the teams are just sticking it out with a 4 versus 4 at the bottom of the map, trying to go for the camp here, which gives us our first big battle, and the red team is actually backing off. So making this a little bit too obvious as they're going for the camp. And then as the blue team invades, they have to back off here and just don't want to risk it against this setup that we're seeing from 4v1b. On the other hand now, the Nuburak obviously working on his stacks, trying to get that extra HP boost that he will receive once he has his 30 stacks together. We're still having the burst damage from Jaina. And this entire setup with Jaina and Ana can of course be absolutely dangerous. I mean, you're looking for the nano boost on Jaina, you're looking for that quick damage there. There's a lot of CC and control spells that we are seeing from Night Pride, especially of course Nuburak with the stuns, the follow-up potentially in a 5 versus 5 from Imperius, and then Jaina trying to drop the quick burst damage on top of the targets. If you're looking on the other side though, with ETC, always a staple on this map, Sylvanas and Liming, you have a couple of really cool heroes for Battlefield of Eternity, and you can really start pressuring very aggressively, especially around the Sylvanas supported pushes with potential immortals. So that's something that 4v1b is going to try and use to win game 1. No dominance, instead the charged blast taken here for Light, so not really trusting into the changed dominance from the past. We're having also, slowly and steadily... Oh, we actually see Strangling Vines coming in. Alright, healing reduced here for the target. Camp has already been taken, and Jaina is also heading quickly to the Nexus to make sure that she is ready for the fight over the Immortal. And the blue team is actually a tiny tad late, not really by too much, but it gives a small opportunity to Night Pride to move in. Also, a great synergy that we're having for Night Pride is obviously that Reyna play with Jaina. It's obviously not only Jaina that can really help out to proc the ace in the hole here, but she in particular is going to be fantastic for Jimmy. And in addition to that, we also have the Nuburak and also Imperius. But Night Pride, they are a little bit timid here with some of the plays. They definitely don't really go for a lot of aggression. They're trying to rotate around their opponent, going straight for the camp here. In the meantime, the rotation up here to the top, as we're seeing 4b1b trying to burn an Immortal down to the halftime show. That aggression is met down at the bottom, and it is pretty much a draw as we're heading into the halftime show now. Both of the Shaman camps have already been eliminated, so both of the teams are now looking for the aggression. And it looks like we're going to see a race. And Nuburak is trying to at least stun a couple of the heroes out to make sure that his team has the upper hand there. And they might just be able to win it. A race is on, and wow, the blue team wins it by 380 hit points. So very close call there, but 4B1B gets the first Immortal that will head towards the top lane and then try and push in there. So yep, with this, we're having already our little setup right there towards the top of your attempt to take down the wall here. That's the first objective. If you can take down the fort or more, that's obviously fantastic. But right now it's all about Sylvanas. And she's already empowering this push as much as she can, taking the entire wall down. And honestly, if they continue that trend, they might just be able to get that fort after all. We're still seeing Nightpride being a little bit timid about the aggression they're showcasing here, but they're trying to burn the Immortal down as efficiently as they can. Here comes the lockdown against the Noob though, and Noob is down. Noob got wrecked, and with that we're now having the fort fall, and that's a great start for 4B1B. Teams are both on level 7, and oh my god, what did you do? No! Light on Li Ming! What the fuck is that shit? Seeker on level 7 over Calamity. Nene is shedding a silent tear. I mean, again, Seeker in general, if you look at it, is a talent that has a lot of damage potential, but if you're thinking about Calamity, it's just an absolutely perfect talent, and letting Calamity go is usually never a good choice. So in this case, we're gonna have Light probably gonna sit far, far behind the back line, never even trying to go for a quick kill. So we're not seeing any kind of hero whack-a-mole here with getting one Calamity in, resetting, and straight going for another. So we're having the aggression against Imperius now, and Imperius goes down. ETC with a final hit. On the other hand, seeing again the counter aggression here as Nightpride is trying to get a kill in too. Not able to pull it off. They should still be able to get the camp though. So despite the fact that they actually just lost the hero, they're able to take the camp away from their opponent. And what else are we going to get there? Maybe another kill? Nah, not quite. Arthas is moving away, is still fine here, wasn't really threatened too much. He also has Icebound Fortitude on level 7, and in addition to that, Rhyme, aka the block talent that he has on level 1. The Festered Wounds on Sylvanas is going to help her to get the stacks for the Unfurling Shadows up a little bit more consistently from here on out. 2 kills against 0 in the game, but still pretty even experience. I mean, don't get me wrong, there is a lead that we see for the blue team, and that could actually bring us into an early level 10 for them around the second Immortal. It depends a bit on how Nightpride plays this right now. But they're trying to burn this down quickly. And this is honestly one of those moments when as the blue team, you might think about just going for a defensive position, because the more you can stall this out, the easier it is for you to get level 10 and then get a free objective. But Nightpride is pushing the issue this time a little bit. The stun of Anubarak is not hitting anything though, and he's actually starting to become a little bit low on mana, so he needs to be careful. Here comes ETC though, moving in immediately. Sylvanas with the damage already. Light sitting at the side on Li Ming and trying to get some in. But ETC low and goes down. Jimmy mercilessly goes straight for the cow. He wants a burger for dinner. He's gonna get that. Joe the Pro here also about to fall. Li Ming gets the kill, gets the reset, tries to go for Reyna. No kill there though, but we're still having 2 heroes down against 1, and that's definitely a neat lead for Nightpride now in the Immortal race, and they're immediately going straight for it just before their opponent is able to get level 10. And that should be a win for them. They're starting to race this. But down there, then Sylvanas now coming in too, and that's actually making it a lot closer than they were probably hoping for. Here comes Anubarak trying to get the stun in, delays it a little bit, and the Immortal is still taken. Nightpride, the red team, able to secure it for themselves. And here we go. Heroic abilities, we have the Water Elemental for Sylvanas. I was more so expecting with the Nano Boost to see Ring of Frost taken here, especially with that stun setup that can definitely prep for the ring. But she is going to get some control in those matches through the Water Elemental. Nobody pushing the top side. Huge problem here. Nightpride too slow to help out with the Immortal. And that is an opportunity you can't give a team like this, because as you can tell, they're already burning that Immortal down like there is no tomorrow. That's insane damage on that fort though. And that should be an easy defense. I think they're even going to hold on to the fort here, unless we're going to see a massive, massive push. Arthas is now rotating in. Already we're having the Cocoon being used, but here comes the counter aggression. Arthas is coming in from behind, trying to go for the flank, missing the Howling Blast though. Still trying to walk down Reyna here, and the slows are kicking in. Army's also being used. Body blocks are in action, and that's the end of Jimmy. Jimmy is down. We're still seeing against the Cocoon that this Integrate being used on level 10. Can obviously easily burn down the cocoon whenever it's used right now and benefit on that cooldown trade. Yeah, but that flank, despite not being quite as effective as we were probably hoping for, still good enough to net them a kill. And we're looking at 4 kills against 2 now in this first game of the best of 5. 1 immortal for each team, but only 1 team was able to take down a fort thus far. Right now, we're still having Imperius holding the top lane, playing this really safe. I mean, again, he's not really moving out too far. They don't have vision on everybody, so he's just trying to be as close to those turrets as he possibly can be. Still aggression at the bottom. Nice move for the Fountain. I like that idea. They can't follow through with it, but hey, it's the thought that counts there in the end. 10,000 damage on Jaina for her baseline, so that means that we're going to see in another 10k also the ice block, which is going to be really beneficial for her. But it's time for the next immortals, and they're going to be spawning soon. Bot lane is still missing some of the aggression that's usually being shown when you're going for an Nubarak composition. 5 versus 5. Are they going to try and make the play here? Where's the stun? Nubarak could go for it right now. Is he going to initiate? Jaina's straight behind him. Here comes the setup. 1 stun, 2 stun, Blizzard on the ground. Silence already be used from Malfurion. 1 ult executed, and they're trying to go for Arthur's here. Especially Anubis on his Reyna. Wants to have revenge against the previous kill, trying to burn him down quickly. Disintegrate comes out. Here's the lunge. The next stun follows through. ETC with a slide, looking for the mosh pit and getting immediately interrupted. Full reset here. Looking on a 2-minute cooldown now, and more damage against Arthur's as well, as Anubis is getting another hit in, one after another. Great setup from them, but no kill in this encounter. Damage output, Sylvanas on 33,000. Li Ming only sitting on 22k. No calamity. And Night Pride with 27,000 on Reyna. And yeah, they're starting to get some damage in on the Immortal, the blue team at least, that is. That fight, on the other hand, is starting to turn against ETC, and 19 hit points. Wow, survives with 19 hit points right there as the next aggression comes through. The red team now more aggressively looking for kills, but look at that mana pool for Nubarak. It's a bit low. He has to be cautious there. That will become a problem soon, and they have another one coming. That experience bar for 4v1b has crossed over into 13, which means we have a talent advantage now for the blue team as well. And this wave is something that they need to deal with too. So they have an even halftime show. It's actually an insanely close fight for every single Immortal, but now the blue team should be able to easily win this one because they have that talent advantage, and Sylvanas and the Nubarak are currently still missing. And this time 4v1b will walk away with a pretty solid shield on the Immortal. Kill would be fantastic. A nice move there with the Nature's Cure. Oh, Sylph with the damage. 90 stacks by now on the Unfurling Shadows. Transparent on Malfurion, still going for the silence as he was attacked on the side, but able to move away from it. 93 stacks now for Sylvanas, and she's still heading into mostly dagger talents here. The Cold Embrace used too. We're having the Cannoneer for Li Ming on level 13, so definitely a bit more of an alternative build from her. But with that said, on level 13, as it finally comes in for the opponent's team too, we're seeing amongst other things the acid-drenched mandibles, and we're also having Giddy Up now in action. 2 stacks away from Jaina completing her level 1 talent. Sylvanas still getting the additional stacks in, nearly crossing over into 100, which is going to give her 50% more damage output on it. And again, we're having the kill against Jimmy's Raiders, so that ult is getting dropped quite a lot. Anubis needs to be able to control this a little bit more individually. That keep is under assault as well, and that barrage that comes in from the back line is starting to drop it quite low. They definitely need to move out a bit more aggressively if they want to try and save it. The Immortal at least is down, but everybody else is about to die. There comes the Cocoon straight onto Li Ming as they're trying to go for the play here. Water Elemental already in action, and they're looking again for another quick setup against Light in particular, but Nubarak is also in trouble. Gets a good stun through against Arthur's. Arthur's down. That's the first kill, and they go for ETC, and that should be another one quite quite easily. Another lunge, another stun, Light in trouble, another stun connects, Nuborak in trouble. He might fall, but there's still... Oh, Ana was there, but then the last dagger that gets thrown out by Sylvana seals the deal. 3-for-1 trade regardless, and now with 5 kills against 5, the red team is starting to turn this around here. Question is just, what do you do with that advantage? And they settle for the camp. They want to take the camp right away. They can try and push through the bot lane right now, try and take at least that fort down together with the camp, push maybe a few of the lanes out, get another camp at the bottom of the map. They definitely need to press the meta a bit more just to get that experience so that they can fight on even talents for that next Immortal. But getting that triple kill was incredibly important for them right now. And we're still having the fight down here at the bottom. We're still seeing at the top Imperius looking for even more experience. The camp already depushed, but also put some pressure onto the fort. For some reason they never took this camp here. I think that was an easy one for them to get, and it's a little bit disappointing that they didn't take it. Not only because they could have gotten more experience and maybe set up a more aggressive push, but now it is going to push that bot lane, and that keep at the bot lane is already incredibly low. So now we're having not only catapults but also the camp push in, and this is pretty much sealing the fate of the bottom keep. Unless there's a massive setup against it, and I honestly don't think that's necessarily worth it. You're gonna lose that keep eventually anyways, and they're giving up the position on the Immortal now by moving for the bot lane defense, and the halftime show will be easily won by 4B, 1B in this first game of the best of 5. The attack is still happening. And Nuborak, by the way, still not completed his level 1, which is becoming a problem. The baseline, on the other hand, for Jaina, that's completed, and that's going to be great for them. Oh, Malfurion gets absolutely slaughtered here. They're still keeping the bug alive, and Jaina is also still in play. But there was a fantastic flank against the support of the blue team. No chance for him to get away. Definitely being a bit out of position there, not moving with the rest of the team in time. And now a great opportunity for Nightpride to take this. 16 talents are ready on both sides, which gives us the Paint and Red and the Northern Exposure. Massive problem here, debilitation. Boys, if you see this at home, never pick that talent. It is honestly trash compared to Epicenter. And yeah, if you play Theorycraft, you can always make the argument, oh, but Khaldor, what about hitting Jaina or any mage with it? It's a fantastic talent, there's like no damage. All bullshit arguments. If you can take Epicenter, you take Epicenter. Epicenter is so much more better than debilitation, unless your opponent plays a double mage setup and something else. You never want to go for that. The stun alone is just worth so much to you, and you are much more aggressive. You are much more of a threat with it. They get the kill against Li Ming now, and they're starting to make the play still over into the top lane. The Immortal is already active at the bottom of the map, and now they're trying to go straight for it. Nuborak's going in. That would have been a triple stun, by the way, with Epicenter. Just saying. They still get the double kill and the triple as they take down Malfurion, ETC, and Arthas. Nightpride been the punching back in the early game here in game 1, but now they're starting to move in and absolutely slaughtering that top lane. And the Immortal is busy at the bottom of the map doing the exact same thing. Sylvana's the only survivor, and Li Ming will be back in another 7 seconds, but right now with 128 stacks, Sylvanas can do nothing but watch. And that keep is down. The only question is, how much do you try and push this right now? Do you really try and make the play for the core here? Because I'm not quite sure that they can pull this off. They should probably start to try and maybe rotate down and see if they can get something else there. But the core is definitely a bit of a stretch since everybody else is coming back and they're not making that play. Bot lane, on the other hand, the fort has been lost. Up to the top, fort and keep both broken. And this is now starting to get a much better position for Nightpride. They are ahead in experience. In a great position here. They're doing really well, and they have gained the map control. So they're going to try and pull this off. At this point, 50,000 damage for Jaina, 58,000 damage on the side of Sylvanas, and even Jimmy is sitting on 47, capitalizing obviously on his level 1 talent. But with that recent fight, we have now 10 kills against 5, so Nightpride has definitely started to turn this entire thing on its head, and they're trying to go straight for camp after camp now. So they're setting themselves up for the next objective. They're setting themselves up for more of a push. And now that they have taken the top keep, it also means that the longer the next fight lasts, the better the top lane situation is for Nightpride. If they take this camp, just before the Immortal spawns, the core will eventually be under attack. So that's a really good start for them, a very nice setup. And they should definitely not neglect to take the Shaman camp whenever they have the opportunity to do so. With that said though, level 20 would be more of an advantage for them if they can grab that in time. And they have the lead in experience. So there's definitely a couple of opportunities for them. We're seeing Imperius holding the line there. They're seeing everybody at the bot lane though, and I'm a little bit surprised that nobody reacts to this even quicker, because that is a freebie now. So that keep is gone. That keep is definitely down, and that didn't need to happen. So that was a bit of a problem. It comes at that small cost for 4v1b that the top lane is now pushed out. So that makes the core maybe a little bit more vulnerable during the objective. But the camp hasn't been taking it either. So they give up the keep at the bottom of the map. Top lane is, as I said, pushed out. 2 catapults are going to push in. They should still, during the halftime show, try and get this one. 19.5. And they're actually trying to give this up for now. No, they're not. They're going for the fight. I was for a second wondering if they give up the halftime show just to try and get level 20 for the fight itself. Top lane, 3rd catapult is coming in. And it's going to attack the core soon. So that's the advantage that they get. And Nubarak moving out just in time. Nice interrupt against the mosh pit. That was absolutely... ETC didn't get a single good mosh pit off yet. Oh, but Malfurion with another great silence here as he hits the Twilight Dream. Core is under attack now. Shields are falling. Triple catapult. Arthur's down. And if they get another kill, they can go for the core. Ice block being used as Li Ming tries to get the kill. The core slowly starting to lose hit points. And ETC falls as well. That's the opportunity for Night Pride to definitely finish the job here. Catapults, as I said, are already doing solid damage. And that's 78% now on the core. They're starting to move in through the top. Li Ming is there, won't be able to get too many resets, doesn't have Calamity, can't jump through this, and this should actually be game as we have Night Pride on level 20 right now. They're starting to go in and seems like they are going to take game number 1 against 4v1b at the grand final of the Legendary Cup. GG and well played as the red team takes the first game of the series. Game number 2, everyone. Night Pride with the lead. Gotta say, didn't think they were able to, or would be able to pull it off there, but they succeeded. And now we have on Infernal Shrines on the left side, 4v1b with Transparent on Malfurion, the Octa on Johanna, Halcyon on Kalthas, Light on Sylvanas, and Spieli on Rexa. Kalthas, baby. On the right side of the map, Twinkle, 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 Little Tyrande. Anubis on Reyna. We have Ildeon on Thrall, Aelon on ETC, and Frozen X on Alarak. Alright, let's check that out. What do we have? Level 1. First of all, Kalthas is a good Kalthas, goes into Mana Addict, which is the talent to take for sure. We have the Unfurling Shadows again. So second time that we see Sylvanas here in action. On top of that, Crash Lightning, not chosen here on the map. Again, makes a lot of sense. You want to have the double charge on the Echo of Elements. You have a much harder time to stack Crash Lightning. And Crash Lightning, in terms of damage output and just the priority that you get, is obviously an insane talent, but it always depends on if you can get those stacks together quickly. And a map like Infernal Shrines, that's very unlikely that you get a decent stack speed there. So if you're going into something like Echo of Elements, you not only have the extra survivability through your self-sustain with a trade, but on top of that, you also obviously have a bit more poke around the objective itself. So traditionally, you see Crash Lightning on either Volskaya Foundry and on Battlefield of Eternity, but on all other maps, it is always Echo of Elements, and for very good reason. I mean, again, it has been the priority talent for everybody on the higher level for a long time. Good damage down here, though. Down goes Johanna, the kill against ETC, and nearly more kills coming through as Kalthas is starting to absolutely destroy here. And Kalthas, again, is a hero that you will see less and less and less the higher up you go in the skills, or in the on the skill level. Division S, the hero is very rarely played. Washed Up, one of the few teams that occasionally plays Kalthas. But when you see him, it's normally Infernal Shrines and Tomb of the Spider Queen where he makes an appearance. But in most cases, other mages are the priority for most teams. Doesn't mean that he doesn't see any play at all. but he's definitely not a hero that you see too often. A little bit more, I would say, after HGC went down than before, but with Gravity Lapse he can still follow up on any pre-stuns. He has obviously a lot of AoE effects, but one of the reasons why you see him, especially on the lower levels, a little bit more often is that a lot of the lower teams or players that are playing on, let's say, below Masters, is that it's much harder for them to dodge out on living bomb spread damage and on the AoE, whereas when you have coordinated play on a higher level, that's normally something that those players are able to do quite easily, dodge a lot of that damage out. And Khaldor obviously is also quite vulnerable to any kind of mobile aggression through Genjis or other heroes that can jump into the backline. Once that he has his quest completed, it's a little bit easier for him. Level 1 obviously what we're talking about here. But yeah. The level 1 or the level 4, an adjustment already. Energy Royal being used from him for now. And we have a couple of other adjustments too. Looking over to Rexa, we see something that we actually haven't seen in a long time. We have the Animal Husbandry. So right now we're seeing a lot of additional hit points coming in for Rexa, as long as he doesn't die. Definitely not a talent that you see a whole lot these days anymore. Was picked at the beginning when Rexa started to make his appearance in the meta in Europe, and has actually been played quite a bit, especially when we're looking towards the Eastern European teams. But then slowly and steadily it all moved towards the Hunter-Gatherer on level 4, so that you get the extra armor for Rexa and for Misha. But in this case, we're actually having an attempt to increase his hit point pool, so let's see if they can keep Rexa alive. Eternal Retaliation at the same time for 4v1b now on the side of Johanna to make sure that they get even more condemns through in these fights. And on top of that, we're now also seeing something on level 4 with the show of Force Fatherrock. It has become a little bit more popular ever since Blizzard changed the negatively charged from 5% extra damage to 4. So it's a little bit more popular here. 20 stacks against 6, and the fight is coming in. They're trying to make the play for Thrall. He's a bit low, but there's already the lockdown attempt from Malfurion himself with the rules, going straight for Strangling Mines here on level 4. Helping also with that heal attempt. He comes on the other side. Nice control. Anubis again for the second time in a row now on his Reyna, and starting to push out the back line, making sure that he doesn't spread the living bomb damage here either. But there's the level 7 Sun King's Fury it is, so we're going to see the focus into the living bombs. ETC with a massive slide in the back, and the setup is the end of Malfurion. 1 kill already achieved, and now we're getting closer and closer when it comes to the stacking progress here. 29 versus 29. Sylvanas moving in again, but the next power slide from ETC and the kill against Khaldor. They're trying to go for Sylvanas. A second confirmed Speely on the run here, and he is going to fall any second. Animal Husbandry already about to be reset for him. Not really a pick that he is going to be very happy with, I would assume, in this game. Right now, 4.5 minutes in, he goes down. That resets, obviously, the stacks. But the Punisher was claimed by the blue team, so 4v1b at least able to get the objective. That helps them a bit. They're not getting a lot of value out of the Punisher, but they at least deny it to Nightpride, so they don't allow them to push with the objective after already winning the team fight itself. We have 5 kills against 1 now. So looking at a really good setup. Already the Sadism on Frozen X popping up to 112, so that's going to help him for sure. Sylvanas still attempting to get a few additional stacks for her Unfurling Shadow, sitting at 32 right now. Definitely nothing to write home about just yet, but we're going to see a little bit more about it. In the meantime, down to the bottom of the map, yeah, there's the next setup. Camp has already been taken, but the fight is still about to start up here. Level 9 versus level 8, which means also an early level 10 for Nightpride, as they're going to try and look for that. At this point, also seeing on the level 4 even, sustaining rounds. That's honestly one of those moments where, as the support player of the team, you're shedding a silent tear, because sustaining rounds is not really a great talent. Again, fight or flight is usually the priority here, and if you don't go into fight or flight, we are mostly seeing Behemoth armor taken. Sustaining rounds are mostly a statement that you don't trust your support in any kind of... You see that maybe a lot in, I don't know, Quick Match and Storm League, where you're pretty much on your own, because, well, coordination is usually a bit of a foreign language when we're talking about that. But when you talk about the amateur scene, then normally you don't see anything like this, because, well, the support most of the time kind of knows what his job is. In this case, though, apparently we're having Reyna in a position where he wasn't quite happy with the heals in the last this game. I'm just saying, you know what, Twinkle? Screw you with your little soap bars you're running around here. You're not healing me anyway, so I need sustaining rounds in my life to make sure that I survive here. So I would say that makes Twinkle a little bit sad that we can't really do anything about it. But yeah, definitely a bit of a strained relationship between Reyna and Tyrande. We don't know what happened there. Maybe there's a backstory. Reyna, after his little romance with Kerrigan when South was trying to hit on Tyrande and she didn't really respond in a positive way. Maybe there was a sexual harassment complaint or something like that, and yeah, Reyna had to go to the HR department. Something happened. We don't know what happened, but definitely something went down there, and right now the trust has just been broken and it's going to be tough to restore that. But we'll see how exactly that's going to work out in the future. For the time being, though, Reyna decided to go into the sustaining rounds, and yeah, there's just some mistrust there. But there's level 10 abilities, and that gives ETC now, in this case, the stage dive. So we're going to see him on the off lane a little bit more. Up to the top lane, Thrall went into, after completing Echo of Elements, going for the Ancestral Wrath. Still great talent on level 7. Went into his... the thingy. I'm not gonna click it. What? Earthquake. There we go. EQ. There we have it. Earthquake. Yeah. For some reason that was a little bit tough today. But yeah. So Earthquake for him. When it comes to heroics, there's not really too much else going on at this point. It's all about the next fight, and it's at least on even talents, but not for much longer because Nightpride has a pretty solid leading experience right now. Thrall is even sitting at the top a bit longer. I was wondering if he would outpush the top Shaman camp. I like that both teams went for it, by the way. That's good timing from them. But Thrall is not trying to push that out. Instead, they are now moving down to the bottom to try and take this one. 14 stacks already for 4v1b. Sylvanas wants to have a few additional stacks for the level 1. Kalthas is already done with the completion of his own quest. Is of course going to try and stack that a bit more. In comes Frozenex and the kill against Sylvanas. She gets wrecked quickly, but Misha comes in and Anubis, wow, gets away. Unbelievable. Reyna survives. They go for Misha. Misha is dead now too, and they're looking for another kill, this time against Johanna. Might be one that they can even get. Alarak sitting at 122 sadism right now. They have level 13 in their hands now too. About to get the lead on the objective as well. And with 13, 6 kills against 1. Nightpride is looking fantastic here. They already have the lead in the series. This is a best of 5. If they take that 2-0 lead, it would be incredibly difficult for 4B1B to come back into this. And these are two Division 2 teams that we're looking at right now, and both of them finished the regular season at the top of the Division 2 standings. But here comes the fight again as 4B1B is getting ready for another push. They want the objective and they might be able to get it. Ooh, it's close, but the red team claims it. Yep, Thrall trying to get the kill against Misha. Can't quite make that happen. Anubis still with the damage output here. He should actually be pretty high on this, and indeed he is. 28,000 for him. Punisher gets baited over the wall, as you should. 13, though, still helping with the aggression of Nightpride as they're trying to go in here. ETC looking for a slide, doesn't find... The fuck? Alright. The big boy plays from ETC. And for some reason, the blue team feels forced to go in, and so they still lose Malfurion. It was not really meant to actually connect the stage dive, it was more bait, I assume. And the bait worked. I mean, the play itself didn't have value, but at least the bait worked. So all of a sudden Malfurion looks at the stage dive and like, I got this! Moves out and yeah, then gets pretty much wrecked. So that was an interesting situation that we just saw there. As it stands, the fort is still down. We're having now 2 camps attacked. One already taken here over on the left. Another one attacked at the bottom. The rest of the team is currently going for the aggression. And ETC, again, he should have been at the top lane from the get-go. If you already go into stage dive, you kind of want to be on the off lane a little bit more. He is still the main tank, so he has to be careful around this. We have now the Pyromaniac on 13, so the cooldown reduction on Kalthas is in. Could have actually totally seen him with a fission bomb there. I'm a little bit surprised that he goes into the Pyromaniac. You normally see that with Flame Strike build. Doesn't mean that it doesn't get value if you're going for living bombs, but fission bomb in this case might have been a good choice. Either way, I would assume that Ignite is going to be the weapon of choice on level 16, considering how they're playing this right now. Misha goes down again, 130 sadism for Frozen X. Doing well so far. having now also the right of Rakshir on level 13. And yeah, in the meantime, having obviously also quite a bit of value from the level 4 talent for Rexa. Rexa at this point, where are we gonna have him at? He is, well, Thrall is actually up there at the top. Rexa has bonus health of 800 right now. Ooh, another kill at the bot lane. Kel'Thas is actually dead. Gets wrecked there. That came a little bit out of nowhere, but Alarak and his boys are getting the kill. So yeah, 800 additional hit points for Rexa. That definitely helps him a little bit. So after dying once in the early game, the animal husbandry is now starting to give him some value. The level 16 talents. Bit of a surprise to me personally that we're having Alpha Wolf taken and not Thunderstorm, considering that we are still seeing him with Echo of Elements completed. So that might have been a bit better. You get that second charge and you can get a lot with Thunderstorm here. But either way, decided to go into the Alpha Wolf, so it has a bit more pressure against the frontliners. Oh, Misha gets sacrificed as she's scouting this out. Down for 20 seconds, and there's an attack, and I'm not quite sure if that's going to be a good fight. 16 against 14, you don't want to take that fight if you don't have to, but they're a little bit torn on what to go for. They get the kill against Rexa, and that resets the animal husbandry stacks, so that's already great setup, but the camp got still taken. They're trying to make the play for Johanna now. That doesn't quite work out, but they get at least the Rexa kill. So it's a little bit questionable if that was really the right choice. Resetting animal husbandry is definitely good, but at the same time they could have made the play for the camp and maybe gotten the kill against Jojo or another hero in the progress, while still getting the camp itself. They missed out on that, but they have still a solid lead here. And with 16 against 15 and only 10 seconds until the shrine activates, they have a good head start. A really good one at that. Yep, over here another setup against the camp, trying to claim that. And Night Pride is honestly, so far in this series, quite dominant. Game number 1, I personally didn't expect them to turn it around at the end of the map because 4v1b did a really good job early on. But Night Pride winning this, and now in this best of 5, having a pretty good performance here on map number 2. 9 kills against 1? It's pretty obvious who's currently in control of this game, and let's see if 4v1b can at any point turn this around, because they should lose out on this particular Punisher, since we're already 25 stacks in for Night Pride, and just now 4v1b gets level 16, so even if they would still force the fight here, it's doubtful that they get much out of it. But with the 16 talents and now also Ignite taken, maybe they have the chance to come back into this. They're saving the top lane first of all against the Shaman camp. That's already an important move. Will of the Forsaken taken as well. Bit of a trap setup here, but they're taking the safe path. And that Immortal is already pushing through the middle. Down at the bottom, Rexa has been trying to get some value. He's back to 136 extra hit points, and that is sneaky. That's a good setup. If that Punisher gets baited in, and yep, there they make their move. They wait until the shots are soaked, and that's the death of Malfurion. He gets wrecked, but ETC, oh, he goes down, and he's not the only one. Goodbye sadism as Alarak dies. Thrall moved into, and that's a triple kill. That backfired quickly. 4v1b with a triple kill. Anubis on the run. That's the only thing that Jimmy can do here. And he's going to be able to get away from this, but that was a very, very nice setup here from 4v1b. Malfurion dies instantly, and then we have that turnaround. And they didn't even pick their 16s yet. We're having on the side of Johanna and Malfurion not even 16 talents. They just now start to get into the next ones. But that setup was fantastic for them. The Blessed Shield coming out just in time, the stuns coming through here, the ults all being used. And even after waiting for the Immortal to also the Punisher to soak those shots, that was a good setup. They're trying to make the play again for Anubis. They can't grab him, but now they have some momentum on this map. 4v1b just got themselves a ticket to the show and are now trying to hold on to that fort in the mid lane and also make sure that they're not falling too far behind the experience. So after what looked as a great game with a lot of kills, 10 against 1 at some point, we're now seeing 4v1b fighting back a little bit here. And looking over at the damage output, we're having Khaldor starting to take the top numbers for the team with 35,000. 30,000 also for Rexa, who's again at 300 additional hit points. Fight in the middle on the other hand. Yep, here come the boars. Rexa unleashing them. The slow Zayn. Mishak is jumping in too, and the gravity lapse connects with ETC. And he is down. Twinkle gets out, at least for now. But there's another turnaround attempt, and oh, the save as Jojo survives. But a really nice setup as they get the kill against ETC, and he is starting to have trouble here. 3 kills against the cow already, and now they're moving in with Sylvanas, and the pressure of the blue team against the fort collapses another structure here. 19 against 18.5, 10 kills against 5, and even more momentum in the hands of 4B1B. And they're starting to move down to the bottom of the map, obviously in an attempt to try and take down another fort here, which might very well be successful for them, as they're starting to go straight in for it. But yep, Frozen X already with a setup against Kelthas. He needs to be careful. Gravity lapse again, and Frozen X might fall. He survives, but just barely, and still has to move back out. Sylvanas with a bit more damage. Entire time Kelthas here. The owl dropping Misha. A little bit on owl on bear action here. And ETC jumping in with a stage dive again, but immediately getting greeted by a root on the ground on the gravity lapse. And that's the end of ETC. Spreading the bombs too. Kelthas falls as well, but not before taking out Reyna. And here comes the blast hammer against Sylvanas, hitting her in the head immediately. And again, Johanna's down too. They're trying to go for Thrall, and the War Chief is dead. Green Jesus is down. Alarak still gets a kill. It's an absolute bloodbath. But a 2-4-1 here on the map, as we've seen 3 kills against 4. And with the help of Sylvanas, they're pushing through the bottom of the map. Shrine activating soon again as well. They're trying to go for the fountain here. The fort is already about to drop, and things are looking pretty spicy here. 20 on both sides now, which gives us the execute. We also have now the last laugh taken. And in addition to that, we're seeing the flamethrower. So at least Kelthas should be in a really cool spot right now. Also having Radiating Faith over the Indestructible here for Jojo. But they're already going for it. They started to get the small lead. They're having a couple of the heroes already back to business. Alarak is still a little bit hesitant to move in, and for good reason, obviously. Light is trying to play this out. They're careful since ETC is back to business, and his stage dive could turn things around quickly. So they're actually playing this safe. I kind of like that. Playing it safe for now, trying to wait around for Rexa to come in, but they yield the position to their opponent for the time being. And well, with Rexa also dying, another quick reminder that his animal husbandry didn't really do too much for him in this game. It might have been a little bit better to go straight into Hunter-Gatherer and get the extra armor for Misha and himself. 48,000 damage now for Kelthas. And keep in mind, he has Flamethrower now, and Ignite can start to control this a little bit more, especially the choke points. Already they're trying to go for Johanna here. Kelthas needs to get the pressure through now and hits it, and that's the Living Bomb spread right there. But the kill attempt against Johanna is nearly successful. The Iron Skin is once again stopping the death. They're trying to move away here. ETC is already looking to go for another power slide, but all of a sudden we're seeing Reyna in trouble. Reyna in trouble. Johanna maybe a little bit too far out as Light comes in too, but Jojo is dead already. Earthquake used in the backline. Sylvanas is down. That's the second kill against them. And here comes the stage dive and the lockdown with another kill against Rexa and once against Kelthas. This could well be the end right here. They're starting to move through the bottom. The gate is already down. Both of the towers are low. No objective taken just yet. Nobody's staying on the shrine. They want to go for the core here, and they are probably going to be able to succeed with this. 40 seconds, only Malfurion down. You can't moonfire that shit quickly enough to get anything done here and set this defense up. And you can't heal that core either. So right now, Malfurion, all eyes on him, but this is not looking good for 4B1B. Night Pride, they won the 2-0, and there's absolutely no reason to doubt that they are going to get this done. They go straight in, and that's going to be the big lead in this best of 5 here, the grand final of the Legendary Cup, as Night Pride takes the 2-0 with a win on Infernal Shrines and has now a massive lead in this best of 5 series. GG, and well played as the red team is victorious once again. Night Pride, the 2-0 lead for the red team. Yeah. They want to make this a 3-0. They want to make this a quick grand final, ladies and gentlemen. The Legendary Cup heads into the last series and potentially the last map here. As we have on the left side, Transparent for 4B1B on Rhaegar, Tomb of the Spider Queen now. The Octa on ETC, have seen that before. Spiele on Imperius, Halcyon on Thrall, and Light on Sylvanas. And on the other side, Twinkle on Tyrande, Aeon on Nubarak, Illion on Gul'dan, Anubis again on Reyna, and Frozen X on Arthas. Alrighty, let's see how that works out. Pretty similar, actually. Like, a lot of the picks are absolutely the same here. You see that Sylvanas pick now for the 3rd time in on the side of the blue team. Switched players over a little bit. Light played Li Ming in game number 1, but they still played with that Sylvanas now 3 times in a row. And we're having, with Gul'dan, already a few stacks coming in. Again, that synergy, obviously, with Reyna going straight into the ace in the hole. Bit of a different approach here with a consuming flame for Imperius. Aeon at the front, dives in deep, straight into the tower range, gets stunned and goes down. Anub got wrecked. Down goes the Beetle. That's a pretty quick kill. Not really a good start for Night Pride, but again, they are ahead. And so far, they've mostly started to take the momentum in the mid and in the late game, especially when we're looking to map number 1 here. We're also seeing Sylvanas again with the stacks. Moving down to the bottom of the map, Frozen X here against Svili, the 1 versus 1 setup. And in the middle, at the same time, Transparent, as Illion is trying to get his stacks together. And 9 so far. I mean, again, he's doing pretty well with the stacking process right now. We're having also for Nubarak, as we already saw in game number 1, the Regeneration Master. And I think the chances of him completing this are a little bit better here. Anubis with a bit of a sneaky move to the Siege Giant camp at the bottom of the map now. Snuck in from the side, making sure that nobody sees him. But they should at some point still figure out that he's missing. This is always like the test. Is my opponent able to count to 5? And so far, it seems that 4B1B has a little bit of trouble with that. It's probably also why they named themselves 4B1B and not 5B, because pretty much the ability to count stops at 4. And yep, nobody figures out that there's a hero missing, so that's an easy take on the keep. And oh, Svili nearly going down, but that last penetrating round didn't do enough damage for it. So with that, we're having to push through the bottom of the map. Still a bit of aggression here against the Octa in the middle, especially as now Ildon's coming in. Doesn't get another stack there though. And at the bottom, here comes the aggression against the turrets. And honestly, there's nobody that really helps out. Everybody just keeps Imperius all alone, and Imperius is saying like, boys, I need a little bit of help here. And everybody else is saying like, dude, you know what? Just like, no, we don't really like you. So apparently that little problem, the differences in opinion that we have between Anubis and Twinkle, they still keep on going, because he still goes into the sustaining rounds, despite the fact that they now won 2 games in a row, despite the fact that Twinkle was trying his best to keep everybody alive in the previous games. We still have the sustaining rounds over the fight or flight or anything else, so the trust in the healer is still not there yet. Jimmy is honestly just begging Tyrande the entire time, what can I do, how can I... sorry, Tyrande is doing that. How can I regain your trust or something like this? But it's not really working out. Anubis stays suspicious on Reyna and just doesn't believe in those healing powers. And if trust is lost, honestly, it's really hard to regain trust after you just abandon someone. Yeah, at this point, looks like Imperius is also going to survive this one. He's pretty resilient at that bot lane. But yeah, Jimmy gets attacked here, and Twinkle doesn't even go for a heal. And I can't really blame Twinkle. I mean, if you have someone on your team that just refuses to trust you when it comes to these plays, then at some point I would get a little bit spiteful too. So yeah, with that, the little love triangle between, or the little love battle between Reyna and Tyrande seems to still be a thing. By the way, we have 1 stack now on the Wolf, on level 1. So, yep, down here, Thrall is going to try and get the Frost Wolf pack together. That synergy with the Alpha Wolf on level 16 is going to become important for them later. On level 4, we also have some adjustments now with the Stormcaller. And the red team gets the first turn in. And this time, they should get the kill against Imperius. And he's able to walk away from it again. I mean, seriously, that guy is just unkillable right now. Goes straight into the Bulwark of Flame. So, Solarian's fire setup here for him. Honestly, I haven't really seen that particular build so far from an Imperius player. So let's see how much of an impact he's going to have in this game. Definitely going for a different setup now. But we have level 7 on both team sides now. And Night Pride start things off with the first wave. So they're going to try and again get that lead. And if they win here, then this is over. So they are obviously very, very eager to make sure that they're going to take a very quick 3-0 against their opponent to finally win the Legendary Cup. Nice 4-man stun here for Nuburak. And good setup again for Gul'dan, who gets the stacks through. And Noob moving out. Good damage here, especially with a triple hit on Anubis as he gets that AoE damage out. They're trying to go for the fountain, and this is going to be an easy elimination. And they're making the play for the fort now. Light still with the battle against Anubis here, so we have Sylvanas against Jimmy, and they're just absolutely murdering their top lane right now. Another stun coming through as Anubarak is looking for the follow-up, and there's the fort eliminated. Down to the bottom of the map, we're about to see Spili die as well. This time he's not... You gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, that guy just survives everything, doesn't he? Hasn't died yet at all, and just jumps over the wall and says like, see ya! And now Arthas is sitting there, Frozen X is sitting at the bot lane, and is just saying, you guys gotta be kidding, right? So they're gonna try and make the play for the fort now. That will be the second one to be eliminated, and he's definitely gonna get that. Thrall still sitting on a single stack here. Has earlier lost the stacks on his quest talent and is now regaining it. But yep, with this we're now having another big push for Anubarak. This time he gets locked down. Yep, there's also the Ancestral Wrath being used, but they cannot secure the kill. Blue Web Weavers then again are getting turned in. And that is a little bit, again, I don't want to really call it a setback. It's not quite true, but it's definitely something you would love to avoid if you're ahead, as Night Pride is. Now Arthas is on the run. He might be able to save him, just barely. And yeah, scratch that. This time he's down. But can they get the gems? And yes, they do. Okay, so Anubarak recovers the gems, but obviously that kill comes a very unfortunate moment in time, just as the Web Weavers come down. Now Ildeon at the top lane is pretty much alone, so he can get some solid damage in against the Web Weaver. And the Catapult is helping with it too. In the middle of the map, on the other hand, they're getting caught just before they are moving through, and Twinkle falls. Yep, that's a little star going down here. No more Twinkle Twinkle from Tyrande. And we're having Aeon also moving away, since he's already low on mana and HP, and that means the mid lane is absolutely open for disaster. It is time to shine here, as the blue team is just saying, we're not going to roll over and die here, we're going to take that. They have level 10 now as well, so both of the teams with heroic abilities. And that's an opportunity for 4B1B to push this out and see if they can get maybe another fort destroyed. Kind of doubt it at the top lane. Web Weaver is obviously going to be, has obviously been eliminated earlier, but they're still able to get at least that wall. Wave comes through again. In comes Anubarak with a dive, and that damage set up, but they can't get enough. Thrall has problems completing his level 4, by the way. Multiple times now he lost his progress, so he missed quite a few of the wolves and is now back at one single stack. And we're already 7 minutes in and 40 seconds, and Thrall hasn't completed the Echo of Elements. That is not really a good sign. As a Thrall player, you normally want to have your Echo of Elements completed around 4 minutes 20. And at 4 minutes 20, that's usually a good mark there, plus minus a minute, I'd say. Now we're having also Anubarak taken down again. That's 4 kills against 0. When it comes to the kill count, we're having 4B1B absolutely stepping it up in this game. But it's a problem. I mean, it's seriously a problem. You don't have the Echo of Elements completed. You don't have your level 4 in any way stacked. It's mostly the other heroes that really have the impact there. We're having the red team still struggling to get their own level 1 talents completed. We're looking towards Gul'dan and also Anubarak, but they are just falling farther and farther behind, at least in kills. And now the second Web Weaver wave for the blue team is going to come into play as well. And they were off to a good start. Not only did they get the first Web Weaver wave, they pretty much got 2 forts out of the first one. And 20,000 damage on Gul'dan, that isn't too bad either. We have the same basically on Reyna. 14,000 only on Sylvanas. So the damage output isn't really all that high for 4B1B, but they get the kills. And that's what matters there in the end, especially as the game continues and the death timers are rising. That's an easy defend at the top side. That's an easy one for them. Instead, the mid lane is getting pushed out by 4B1B as the camp was taken there. But now one already down. Rotation towards the middle. They're going to lose the bottom 4 and they know it as well. But they can take these down in progress quite easily. Experience, totally the same here. So that doesn't mark a problem at all. And yep, now down to the bottom of the map that we're going to see our next little setup in an attempt to go for it. Thrall, by the way, now with the completed Echo of Elements, which gives him the second charge. but the level 1 still at 0 stacks. Really needs to be a little bit more diligent about working those wolves in whenever he has a safe shot at someone. Especially, of course, if there's other setups coming through. Full on Solarian's Fire, by the way. I mean, full on the entire time here. Blaze of Glory on 7. And it's just like all into the same talent tree here. And here comes the turn-in attempt again. There's enough turn gems, by the way, for Nightpride to get a turn-in, but not if they lose an Uberak like this. Yep, the Buck is down, and that was an easy kill. And Thrall again with 1 stack on the level 4, but Arthur's with a good Howling Blast. And that allows them to walk away. 13, a little bit quicker for the red team. It's actually kind of funny. The red team is faster in getting level 13, despite the fact that they haven't gotten a single kill yet. It's 5 kills against 0, and even structures on the map, but the red team still has the lead in experience because they just get those minion waves a little bit more reliably than their opponent. The problem that they now have is that control of the objective has pretty much fallen completely into the hands of 4v1b. And obviously the blue team is super eager to make sure that they come back into the series. It's a tall order for them anyways to win now 3 games in a row, but taking Tomb of the Spider Queen would at least be a start and might be what gives them a bit of momentum here. And there's still not enough gems in the hands of 4v1b to get a turn in. We still have more than enough for Nightpride to get Weeper Wave number 2 for themselves. But for that, they need to really start winning a few of these team fights. And so far, they've only been on the receiving end. Now, Nuburak getting another globe would definitely help him with the additional 500 HP that he's going to get there. And as they go for it, they should actually take that globe, but they're not. Nuburak comes in, doesn't get the stun though. Still 1 single globe away. ETC moves in, no mosh pit just yet. Jimmy's a little bit low. Here comes the 3rd stack for Thrall. As he gets that, Horrify comes through. They're trying to go for ETC, shifting the fight now up to the top, where Arthas is walking them down. Nuburak still missing 1 globe for the 500 HP. They really should be trying to get that now. But Twinkle in trouble. Their stuns coming out. Thrall comes in with the Earthquake. Again at 0 stacks. 0 stacks on the level 4 for Thrall. But he gets the poke through with his Chain Lightning. So Nuburak moving back again. 2 stacks missing also for Gul'dan. That's the only thing that he still lacks until he gets his Echoed Corruption. 73 that we're seeing for Sylvanas. And as I said before, Thrall is having serious trouble. He was at 3 stacks and then he missed another wolf. And that reset him down to 0. So much trouble for him. Having now 14 versus 14. I mean, experience is still dead even at this point. So that's still right there. But again, what are we gonna have up to the top? Another turn-in attempt. They are 1 gem short. Only 1 gem. That's all that they need here. But Anubis turns in before they can. And now we have also the Echoed Corruption completed. As the moment, Octa, nice push, and the lockdown against Reyna. Yeah, baby, that's where fight or flight really is helpful. Sustaining rounds not really doing a whole lot for you. I mean, again, I've been memeing about this a little bit, but honestly, sustaining rounds are not really a great talent. It's maybe a good talent, again, if you play Quick Match or if you play Shit League, Storm League. Always have to remember, SL, not Shit League, it's Storm League. It's Storm League. So, yeah, if you play there and you can't really trust your support enough, then sustaining rounds might give you some value, but fight or flight or Behemoth Armor, if you feel that's better, is honestly what you should aim for on level 4 if you're playing in an amateur league where you can trust your supporter, where you normally have a communication channel open that you can talk to your support directly. So in such a moment, that would have been a very helpful thing to have there. But as it stands, he is down again. And that's 6 kills against 0 right now. So now we're having the level... we have 5 stacks, by the way, in Thrall. And the level 16 gives him Alpha Wolf. That's really the moment when you want to be a bit careful and make sure that you get that quest completed so that you can benefit from the mana management and the cooldown reduction. Also, 16 ready for both sides. And this is really where Nightpride pushes again. And in the previous games, usually the mid and late game, this is really where they have been able to make a huge mark onto the game and the outcome. So they're going to try and just emulate exactly the same pattern again here. And again, debilitation. I'm getting herpes just looking at that. Quest completed by Thrall, there we have it. And the Nuburak goes in again and, wow, gets bullied around completely, but survives, at least for now. The Horrify helped a lot. Gul'dan with a save there. Cocoon came out, but ETC sliding in again, and a nice move from Reyna as he drops him with the penetrating round and pushes him out. There's still a mosh pit available, so that's a huge threat. They're going for Arthas, and Frozen X is about to go down, but can walk away for now. The problem is that the Wolf is rushing in and drops him. The Nubarak again on the move back, and that is, at least for now, a chance to escape. Nope. There comes Rhaegar with a slow. They're trying to go for Twinkle. And in comes the damage from Sylvanas herself. She's sitting at 108 stacks now. ETC slides in again and drops Tyrande, the green-haired witch, is eliminated. That's 8 kills against 0. And they are really, really starting to dominate this game now. And they also have still enough gems to get another turn-in, which would be turn-in number 3 for them. So that would be pretty amazing. So with that, we're now having also a move over to... I mean, they can get the camp either. They can go for... They could have even gone for boss, to be honest with you. But even if you just get the turn-in here, that would work as well. But it feels like they're going to try and delay this a bit. Oh, there's the turn-in. Just after the camp was triggered, they go for the turn-in. So now they get both. Rhaegar's helping out with the 2 jumps in for the shield. We're having 49,000, 38,000 damage. I mean, Gul'dan is killing it. Gul'dan hasn't died yet either. He's the only hero on the side of Nightpride that hasn't fallen yet. But 8 kills against the rest of his teammates, that is tough. And now the Web Weaver wave coming through could also mean that the first keep is going to be eliminated. Depends a little bit on the push. And it seems like 4B1B is going to focus onto the mid lane, where they have the advantage of also relying on an additional camp. Therefore, we have the Spell Aura. Ion as a Nubarak still sitting at the side there. The fort at the top lane is going to fall either way, so that's a freebie, but it's all about the mid lane right now, and that's where they're going to try and get that keep. And they have a really good chance to make that happen. They have a lot of the quests completed. They're stacking more and more on Sylvanas, so that damage output is going to increase too. And in addition to that, we're now having the Spell Aura, which should allow them to make the play here. The walls are down, the wolves connect. Here comes a Nubarak again. Obviously, we're having Sylvanas trying to disable the keep, and Ildeon on Gul'dan is trying to push it back somehow, but there's very little hope of saving this one. Unless they win the fight. And here comes the Cocoon. They're already starting to jump straight in with it. Already the Earthquake being used. And the Ancestral Horrify being used too. And Nubarak with a stun attempt. And here's the Mosh Pit. Mosh Pit against 3. And that should be a lot of damage they can push out. Twinkle again isolated at the front and dropped. And that's another death against Tyrande. They're making the play for Frozen X. He's down too. And the Nubarak barely escaping here as the Octa on ETC slides in again to try and drop Reyna. But Reyna does survive. The problem is that the Nubarak doesn't, and now all of a sudden the keep is about to fall. And that's not the only one. The keep at the top lane has already been eliminated by the Web Weavers. So 2 down, they get Jimmy. That's 12 kills against 0, level 20 in their hands. And Gul'dan, the only survivor, still hasn't died in this entire game. But he can't do anything anymore. This is going to be game. 4B1B is taking the victory on Tomb of the Spider Queen. They are able to win it right here. And they start a comeback against Nightpride in the 3rd game of the best of 5 series at the Legendary Cup Grand Final. Game number 4, 4B1B, able to bring it back, at least for now. Nightpride is obviously still up and has a chance to decide the series in their favor right now. Crown themselves the champion of the Legendary Cup in this grand final. We have Volskaya Foundry, and on the left side, Transparent on Tyrande, Spieli on Nezebo. Halcyon on Tyrael, the Octa on ETC, and Light on Gul'dan. Double mage. Now we can maybe talk about debilitation on a Nubarak for level 16. And even here, I would be skeptical about recommending the talent. Twinkle on Rhaegar, Anubis on Liming, Ildeon on Hanzo, Ion on Nubarak, and Frozen X on Thrall. Yeah, there's no triple melee, so Thrall still decides to go into the Echo of Element. Frozen X, not with the Crash Lightning. Definitely becoming an option on the map. And since they don't have that 3rd melee, they could take the solo lane. Makes sense to still stick it out with the Crash Lightning here. Also, Thing of the Deep. Range increase for Nezebo. Trying to play it super safe here. You honestly don't see it all that much because most of the time you still want to dish out a bit more damage with it. So Spider Build or Toads are normally the weapon of choice there. But in this case, you want to keep him safe in the backline. So let's see how Nazeebo is going to fare here. Outside of that, the talents in level 1, pretty much normal. No big adjustments here for now. 4-man rotations, bot lane, that's where we're now having Tyrael against Thrall. So the two of them already going for the little dance. At 420, you normally have the completion on the Egg of Elements. It's a normal time. But let's see if Thrall is going to be a little bit quicker with that even. Frozen Egg so far has been done a pretty decent job on the offline. And has 5 stacks already, so he's doing well here. Obviously, in this case, you want to go for the late game. Normally, we're having level 20 abilities ready for the teams, and if at any point Nazeebo is hitting the Viral Infection, he can do a whole lot of work with this. We have now 1 minute in, both of the teams going straight for the camp. Maybe a little bit late on the side of Night Pride, but the idea is still that once you have those camps in play, you go straight for the objective for the turrets, just to make sure that you have a second one possible for the taking once the objective itself spawns. And we're already having a bit of an attack towards the healing beacon right now, trying to get that too, which is definitely another nice thing to have if you're going into that fight. Gets contested for a second, but still an easy grab here. Someone has to take it. Everybody's like, oh, you take it. No, 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 I don't want it. You go. Level 4 abilities are coming in for the teams too. Nothing really too crazy. Bit of early stacking that we're seeing for both teams. Dominance still taken on Liming here on the level 4. So far so good. Everything pretty much on the level. Just waiting for the objective to pop in. Level 4 abilities are in play right now, which gives us also the Blood Ritual. So Restoration at this point and no increase. Definitely a little bit of an alternative build for Nazeebo, at least thus far. We'll see how much he deviates from the norm after that. Up to the top. We're still having Hanzo starting to get some random damage in. Also, Liming is popping in again and trying to get that orb connected, which doesn't quite work out for them. Thrall also sitting at 15 stacks. Goes for the 16, gets 17. Looks good there. And if he actually completes it right now, it would be great, because oftentimes on Volskaya you see the talent not completed for objective number 1, and if he's able to pull that off here, then he would be very valuable for that first fight. Already we're having the position taken by the blue team. 4B1B taking it right here. And let's see what they can do with that. Level 4, yeah, there's the quest completion for Thrall. 3 minutes 11. Pretty good for Frozen Eggs. Nicely done. Also helps that there was nobody at the bot lane to really distract him and try and make it a bit more difficult for him. Tyrael can definitely screw a lot of these timings up when he pops the shield. He just stands on top of the minions, as we said in the past. Here comes Nazeebo again. 56 stacks for him already, so doing well, at least on the stacking progress. But the position has now been taken, and they're trying to make the play here. Nubarak with the stun, trying to follow it up with the second. And the turrets are on the ground, or at least one of them. Anubis is eating a lot of damage here, but dodges out on the zombie wall, which is important. Doesn't get connected with the Echoed Corruption here either, which is also important for him. And the red team is starting to take this over. Level 7 abilities are slightly faster for 4v1v though. What the fuck is that? Dead Rush on level 7? Alright, someone is rolling a dice every single time he hits a new talent here. Ildeon, oh, the kill against Hanzo. Hanzo down, and they're trying to make the play right now for another kill. Anubis is also nearly dead. If they could get a kill there, it would be great for the resets for Liming, but thanks to the healing beacon, the sustain is definitely beneficial for 4v1v now. They easily hold that position and are now in a spot where they can actually easily get a little bit more damage onto the middle as they're going for Protector number 1. And so far, that looks good. This, on the other hand, is still interesting. So, again, there was a lot of leeway at the start, but right now I'm looking at the Nazeebo build and I'm just like, wait, what? Nazeebo in itself is already a pick that you don't really see all that often, but in this case, it's definitely a bit of a weird choice. Frozen X is now facing against Naz at the bot lane, up to the top, where we have the Protector moving in. This, by the way, is still a bit of a problem. The new Protector is a bit more squishy than in the past, so this one moving straight into the wall without waiting for the minion wave results in this thing taken out pretty much immediately. And right now, they can't even do anything. That Protector, as we say in professional circles, didn't do jack shit. So it didn't absolutely do anything. I mean, look at this. They didn't even drop a tower with that. Not even that. Normally you want to go for the fountain at least. They couldn't do anything with it. That protector just YOLOing into the towers, guaranteed that it was taken down before it could get anything done for the team. So that's a bit of a waste for 4B1B. There was definitely a lot more value to be had by this. And yeah, didn't quite work out. So now we have a level 9 on both sides, but that's a bit of a lost opportunity there for them. So they kind of need to make sure that they wait for the minion wave next time and just push that out properly. Maybe go through the wall at the side if they feel that they don't have the damage to go through the rest. Also, getting at least one damage dealer with it would be nice, because Gul'dan was in the protector, Nazeebo was at the bottom of the map, so there was no one really that could assist with damage from the backline. Here come the level 10 abilities now, as both of the teams have taken an additional turret. We're looking at the healing beacon again. And we have, in terms of abilities, already the Sanctification, Starfall, Horrify is taken again. Arrow Sundering this time. Gary the Gargantuan is taken instead of the Ravenous Spirit. So definitely approve of that little choice. But let's see how the next fight is going to pan out. Because right now, Nazeebo is stacking quickly. I mean, really quickly. He's sitting at 100 stacks already, and we're talking about 7 minutes into the game. With a different level 4 talent, he would already have a massive increase here also on the hit point pool. I mean, as it stands already, he is looking good on that. But still, Nazeebo definitely going to have the 170 ready for level 20 if it ever comes to this. And that's something that for Nightpride should be at least a little bit of a concern. Their Nubarak is sitting at 13 stacks for the level 1, so those 500 hit points are still quite a bit away. And 12 stacks for Gul'dan isn't really too great yet either, but as fight number 2 should already be prepared for at the top lane, that's a good chance that we're going to see more stacks for the Echoed Corruption coming in right there. Now with this, we're still having also a big push thanks to the camp that was taken. Thrall is still sitting at the bottom of the map and trying to play against Nazeebo here and get some damage out, but won't be able to get the kill there. Thrall himself also eating a lot of damage, got apparently trapped by the zombie wall for a second inside the tower range, if I read that correctly. 14 stacks against 16, and here's the control point. Announced at the top side. In comes ETC. They're trying to go for the play as the Nubarak dives in. Arrow comes through. Horrify has been used too. And the Ancestral keeps the buck alive. Sanctification on the ground. The 4 versus 4 battle. And the Nubarak barely surviving. That was a close call. Thrall is still sitting bot side. And Nazeebo has already started to make the rotation towards the top. Yeah, but these fights are not really working out as well as they were hoping for. The problem is that with the Nubarak and Thrall at the front line, you have a dangerous setup. It's aggressive, but it's also a bit on the squishy side if you compare it to a Tyrael and ETC lineup. So they have to be quite decisive about the plays that they make here. And with that, we're having the control on the point by 4B1B. Definitely missing a tank on the side of Nightpride that is able to take a bit more of a punch, because Thrall is definitely not a tanky character, and a Nubarak alone in that spot is also usually not what we really want. Normally he has someone else on his side that is able to sustain him through. And Nubarak barely surviving here. And yeah, the front line is just not able to take a lot of damage, and that is becoming a bit of a problem in these fights. Level 13 abilities are now ready as well. And Thrall in the middle trying to help them with 13 too. Yep. Again, Nazeebo waiting a little bit, has to roll his dice to see what he picks on level 13 for a talent. Honestly feels like he's reading up on the talents. It's like, so what does that do? Alright, okay, I get it. I'm not quite sure. Let's see what the dice says. And we're getting the ice block. I like it. Look at that, proper talent taken. So, yep. Ice block is taken, and that is going to help him with survivability. Can actually dodge a lot of the stuff that comes out here. Especially if you, for example, dodge an arrow of Hanzo with an ice block, that would be fantastic for them. So right now, we're having the quick move here against Ildeon. And yes, Hanzo survives, gets the arrow connected. Nicely done. They're trying to follow it up. Ice block is a bit late. but still no kill. It's a single kill in this game so far. One. That's all that happened. But 99% on the progress bar is showcasing quite quickly how well 4B1B is set up at that front line. And honestly, for me personally, this is mainly for the reason that I already pointed out earlier. If you're relying on a Thrall and a Nubarak setup, you better get your kills quickly by making very decisive attacks happen. And if you don't manage to do that, then you are just in a world of pain. That's exactly what happens here. You have a Tyrael against you with shields. You have also ETC with a Proc Rock against you. There's a lot of stun setups with a Power Slide into a Tyrande stun plus the Zebo wall. There's just too much at this point for them to handle if they don't get a quick kill. And right now they're just not managing to do that. And the longer the fight lasts, the more of a problem it becomes that their front line is quite squishy. So that makes things difficult. And 4B1B should easily be able to carry this into the late game where a Zebo pick can obviously start to hurt you. Ford at the top has already eliminated. They're going for the one in the middle instead of making the rotation down to the bottom of the map to go straight in for the bottom Ford. But they're going to get the value here. And again, we're talking a single kill in this entire game, but it doesn't even matter because now the structural advantage that Night Pride, that 4B1B has over Night Pride is starting to become a massive issue. A noob would definitely benefit from having his quest completed on level 1, because once that he has those extra 500 hit points, it helps them a little bit. By now we have 180 stacks for Nazebo. But yeah, things are rough. Seriously. 1 kill against 0, but level 15 in their hands now. They go for the objectives again. Let's take a bit of a check also on the damage output. 21,000 for Nazebo. Quite behind when we're comparing that to Liming on Hanzo. 29,000, 32,000. I mean, even Thrall is sitting at 17k. But that doesn't do anything for you if you can't get the kills in. And here comes the Nubarak, gets attacked again, and they're making the play once more for the healing beacon. And so far, they haven't really tried to hide anything either. I mean, most of these players are pretty much telegraphed, but it's not like they can do anything about it. So now they're trying to make the play again. Ancestral already out as Hanzo is alive for another second. The cleanse comes through too, and Hanzo survives, but they take and they have one healing beacon still. They're already zoning them out and everything they have, trying to make the play now for... that was nearly a kill, but Sanctification and Ice Block ruins it. Yeah, they nearly got the... there's the Calamity value. And this is why you pick Calamity, ladies and gentlemen. Look, kids, this is Calamity right there. Calamity comes in, gets the reset, jumps back out, and that was the kill that they got. And they try to get a bit more with it too as they're jumping in again, but they won't be able to get that kill. Can they save an Uberak at least? And indeed, yes, they can. Yep, debilitation taken again for an Uberak on level 16. We're also now seeing the Rising Storm taken for Rhaegar after the Earth Shield, so no synergy with the Totem on level 1. On top of that, we're having the Mirror Ball. And, yep, there is the Ring of Poison. Again, a very alternative Nazebo build that we're seeing there. Now, it helps him to get the stacks together for the baseline a little bit quicker, but that's definitely not something that you would see on a higher level, in a higher level game if there was a Nazebo pick. We had a couple of Nazebo picks in the past. I mean, even in HGC, we saw the occasional Nazebo pick, usually in compositions that they were designed to go to the late game. But that build that we're seeing here is definitely quite out of the box and not something that I would recommend to emulate if you're trying to play that hero a little bit more often and incorporate that into your strategy. But either way, with the setup that they're running, it definitely works out. But I gotta say, so would any other hero in this position right now. Because the problem that Night Pride still has is their sustainability during fights. And since, especially on this map, a lot of these fights take a long time on the checkpoint, they just don't have the setup that helps with that. It would have been great for them to have maybe a Blaze over there, maybe having a Urel in any position, that Imperius from the earlier games would have helped a little bit too. So there's definitely a lot of choices that they could have made in order to change things up a little bit for them, even if they would have just moved into another main tank. But Nubarak and Thor are relying on these quick kills, and that's what they're needing to try and do again. And they can definitely try and set this up, but so far they get bullied around a lot. It's a kill against a kill, but we have again the position taken down here at the bottom by the blue team. And I would not recommend to go into that fight right now. Thrall is still sitting topside. You need to make sure that Frozen X rotates down now before you take that battle. You don't want to be forced into a 5 versus 4 here, not in that situation. They get some good damage onto Tyrael, but they shouldn't be taking this fight before that happens. They can still turn that around. And I mentioned this in Game 1 and Game 2. The late game was where they got always more value, and now they're making the play for ETC. He still has the mosh pit though. Horrify comes in, gets used. He has the arrow. They're trying to make the play there, and the Sanctification could still be thrown out as the cocoon on Tyrael is over. Ancestral keeps living in play, and the damage comes out as we're having now 35 stacks on the side of Gul'dan, but they're going for Tyrael again. They can't get the kill though, but the mosh pit, the kill against ETC. That was enough to get at least one secured. He has the quest completed for Nubarak. Finally, a few more hit points on his part. And they're trying to make the play down here against the double mage. And this is the end of Gul'dan. Gul'dan down, the Sanctification a moment too late. And this should be a protector for Night Pride. At this point, they are looking really, really solid here to maybe come back into this. 3 kills against 1. They got the double kill. They should get the protector here. And they might have the earlier level 20 against their opponent. So this is definitely a good situation for them to be in. But level 20 will also give us for Nazeebo the added Vile Infection. And Gul'dan is still 3 stacks away from completing his level 16 talent. And once he has that, things are going to become a little bit more dicey too. Going for the camp here, I like that as well. Okay, good ice block. Shouldn't really go in too far, but they might get the kill. Oh, they're diving in deep. But Nazeebo survives. Or does he? Thrall is coming in now too. Thrall stayed a bit long. Should have probably come in with them. And here's the kill against Li Ming. They go for Nazeebo again. And nobody gets the final blow in. They're shifting targets the entire time. Finally, Nazeebo goes down. But now they're losing also Hanzo. Duranda has fallen too. And there's definitely a lot of indecisiveness on the side of Night Pride here. If they go this deep and try to dive the fort, then Frozen X should have moved in a lot more quickly. Rhaegar's down now as well. So definitely miscommunication. Frozen X was expecting them to go for only the camp, and he stays on the objective. The team made the choice to go into the fort. Thrall comes in a bit too late, and then they also don't focus on Nazeebo. They let him escape 3 times with barely any hit points whatsoever instead of just securing the kill, and now they are likely to lose the objective again. Massive, massive misplay, a bit too greedy by Night Pride. Again, miscommunication, probably the main reason here. They saw an opportunity, didn't communicate it properly, and then the entire scenario turns against them. And now they're in trouble. 20 any seconds for 4v1b, and the blue team is going to win this one. The blue team is going to win the protector here. There is just no denying this anymore. You have 3 heroes against 2, even with Li Ming coming. You're taking too much damage beforehand, unless you can get a quick kill somehow. And they're trying, and it might be, and they actually get Gul'dan. They actually get him. And now Li Ming is back. Li Ming is back to business, but there's the 20 on both sides, and now we will see the Vile Infection any second, unless Nazeebo is drunk. And Anubis, Li Ming, she goes down. They can't save her. Tyrael is dead too. Tries to get the value, and that's the Beetle dead as well. Nazeebo is in the action, has still not taken his level 20 talent, but there's the Protector right now. And Nazeebo, there we go. Vile Infection has been taken. Alright, here we have it. They lose the opportunity. Protectors claimed. That was definitely the ticket for Night Pride to go back in, to get back into the game, and they just ripped the ticket apart and threw it away here. Li Ming with the top damage in the game. Hanzo top damage in the game now, taking over. 57,000 for both of them. Tyrael, by the way, the top damage dealer now on the side of 4v1b. 42,000 damage for him. Tyrael is rocking it at this point. Has the Holy Arena, went into the Sword of Justice and the Burning Halo. But yeah, Tyrael now the top damage dealer, and that's with a Gul'dan and a Nazeebo on the blue team. So yeah, interesting to say the least. That keep, on the other hand, is toast now. That's the first one eliminated, but they don't make the play for the core yet. But obviously they're looking strong here. And talking Gul'dan for just a moment. Gul'dan has now been about to complete his talent on level 1 for 5 minutes, I want to say. I mean, he was sitting on 37 stack for a long time. He has acquired an additional one and is sitting on 38, but he still doesn't have the Echo Corruption completed. And Night Pride with 7 kills against 6 are now in a spot where they try and obviously take this somehow. 4v1b, I mean, they're fighting tooth and nail. They really want Game 5. And they've been 0-2 in this series. If they are able to turn this around, that would be quite impressive. But yeah, Night Pride just trying a little bit too much. In the late game, they really have good moments in the late game, but that miscommunication earlier was a problem and might be the reason why they could potentially even lose this one. Now, 20 minutes in, we finally have Gul'dan completing his level 1, so that's already good. But yep, with that said, we're still having these 5 versus 5 moments as the bot lane is starting to become a problem. Okay, this time they go for the beacon here. Item control is going to be important, and right now none of the teams holds anything. But that's the moment of truth, pretty much. And with the holy arena and everything else, you need to be cautious if you're Night Pride. This is a dangerous area to fight in. If your opponent is relying on the Echoed Corruption, on the Mosh Pit, Holy Arena, and the Starfall, I'm not quite sure if you really want to take that fight. There's a lot of stuff to potentially happen here. And, yep, there's the kill against the Nubarak. A noob down. They're trying to go in for the counter kill. They're trying to make it happen, but there's just way too much. And obviously, Nazeebo is now going to start and absolutely rock the numbers. His Violent Infection should make it really tricky for Rhaegar to keep everyone alive here. But the Nubarak down and dying without even using that cocoon is definitely a big problem here. So with this, we're now having 49,000 damage for Gul'dan, starting to take over here. 65,000 for Hanzo, 60,000 for Li Ming, but they're just breaking through the walls here. 7 kills against 7. And without a noob, they can do very little here. Frozen X already sitting at the side, and they're pushing in aggressively. Li Ming is at the top lane, trying to take that camp down that's pushing in. But the problem still remains. Another keep is going to fall, and they might think about even going for core here. Good damage for Ming once again. Trying to get the damage in against Gul'dan, who uses already his Demonic Circle to jump out there. And obviously the next objective is going to spawn in the middle, if it ever comes to that even. I mean, they're going for full control of the items now. They have already a healing beacon. They now have 1 turret. They're about to grab a second one on the left side, which means they have 3 items against 0. And with 2 keeps down, Night Pride is absolutely on the ropes right now. So yeah, there we go. What else we have? Top lane, Frozen X is sitting there, starting to push this out. We're also having at the main time Iron moving in. They need a kill. They really need to have the perfect engage here in the Nubarak, just flipping the cocoon quickly and then go for a target, or they will lose this in the long run. That Nazeebo damage at this point should start to skyrocket as the next fight starts up, and with 3 items against 0 for... I mean, again, it's really tough. Tough if not impossible. They need quick kills, and it's not like they can't get them. They got them earlier. They got quick kills against Gul'dan and others as well. So if they make that happen, they have a chance here. But Gul'dan now has also the circle, obviously. The Demonic Circle for him is going to help him to stay alive whenever he gets a chance to pop the button. They have to de-push the top lane, and they do that just before that happens. Before the objective happens. So they're going to take the camp down here. 2 heroes already committed to it. Which means that everybody else here should get the hell out of there. Huge mistake by Nubarak. Again, why is a Nubarak there? You have 2 heroes top lane, your opponent is with 5 in the middle. There are 0 reasons for you to be anywhere near that thing. There is no reason whatsoever. What are you going to do there? Nothing. You have nothing to do there. You can't get a kill, your damage dealers aren't there. Sitting in that position, huge mistake, especially against the Horrify, against ETC, against Tyrande, against Nazeebo. Massive mistake again. Night Pride getting wrecked. Thundering as we are already seeing the Sanctification on the ground, and they are absolutely getting murdered right now. There's the Mosh Pit against 2. They're starting to jump in, and at this point, Night Pride is just getting shit on. Huge mistakes here from the red team. Definitely a massive amount of misplays, and that's an easy win now for 4B1B as they force Game 5 in this best of 5 series here at the Legendary Cup Grand Final. The final map, ladies! 4B1B on Sky Temple against Night Pride. Night Pride had a 2-0 lead, and let's be frank here, they kind of threw it away a little bit. Now we're having the chance for 4B1B to make it a reverse sweep and take down their opponent with a 3-2 victory. The final map of the Legendary Cup Grand Final. Transparent on Malfurion, Speely on Rexa this time, the Octa on ETC, again Light, again on Sylvanas, and Halcyon on Reyna. On the right side of the map, though, Night Pride with Greymane, played by Ildeon, Twinkle on Tyrande again, Anubis on Jaina, Frozen X on Abathur, the Slug in play, and G-Finger on Johanna. Alright, well, kind of excited for this one. And yeah, this is gonna be an interesting, to say the least, because if you lose 2 games in a row after being in such a dominating position and in having such a lead, that is a bit of a problem. So we'll see how exactly that works out for the red team right now, if they can really just dig deep and make sure that they're going to win this here now. The Abathur composition is definitely an interesting one, because if played correctly, you have a macro advantage over your opponent. There's great copy targets as well. Already the setup down to the bottom. And especially at the front line, we need to have a bit more of a proper setup here. Also, I think they switched a player out. I mean, G-Finger, am I insane? That's a different frontliner, isn't it? So, not 100% certain if I'm misreading something there. Maybe it's also just an alternate account because they were lacking a hero or something. It happens sometimes. So I don't want to read too much into that, but I don't have any info on that. Either way, they have with Johanna now much more sustainable hero at the front line. Leon here at the camp might need some assistance from Abathur. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's gonna go well. Greymane! Okay, there's the shield, and he's gonna take it. I was waiting for that death, to be honest with you. I was a little bit closer than I expected. There we go, at the bot lane, both of the teams going straight in for the camp. Both teams have their camps now. An Abathur composition in the early game can sometimes be a little bit tricky to play simply because you don't have that extra hit point pool in this. And yeah, so as far as I know, actually, we have some info on that. So apparently the main tank for Night Pride had to leave, and G-Finger is still part of the extended roster. If you've never really played or heard of Heroes Launch, I would highly recommend to check it out. It's an amateur league where you can play even as an individual player, no matter on what level or what skill level you usually play. And it's 1 match per week for everybody. heroeslaunch.gg is the website, and I think the new season is about to start soon, so you should definitely have a look there and check that out. But it's a fantastic community. They have a good FAQ on their website as well, and in addition to that, there's a very, very vibrant Discord server too, where all of your questions are being answered. A lot of the teams have more than 5 players and then play around that. And talking around this, we have again the animal husbandry, so no hunter-gatherer once more. Kind of backfired on Infernal Shrines. Let's see if they can this time keep him alive a bit longer to really capitalize on the talent and get some value here. We're seeing on level 4 the Adrenal Overlord now for Abathur. Hold your ground on level 1, plus the Sins Exposed. I mean, especially Greymane is really going to capitalize on the fact that they are playing around Abathur here, or should. And Abathur is currently starting to take the bot lane experience. So this is exactly where Frozen X is supposed to be. Maybe a little bit outside of the vision in a bush would be a bit better than being in plain sight. But either way, it's kind of what you want to go for. I still kind of expect ETC to at least consider stage dive regarding the Abathur pick, so that they can go on the off lane here. But as it stands, we have an exchange in temples, so that both teams will benefit from the objective to a certain degree. Also, down here, Reyna going into the fight or flight. We've been talking about this talent a bit, since every time that Reyna was picked by Night Pride, they actually went into sustaining rounds. And in this case, we have the defense against the burst damage coming from Greymane and Jaina, which I really, really like for him here. Festering wounds again, as Sylvanas has been picked for the 3rd time now, gets stunned out here too. And the level 7 talents gives them a lead. G-Finger, no shield, and that's the first kill in the game. Johanna down, and the final few shots taken from the mid-temple by 4B1B as they're pressuring this through. And as we said so many times in the past, Sky Temple, as the objective attacks the structures directly. If you can take any kind of structures out by not using the objective, you have an advantage going into another temple round, because if you can trade evenly on the objective against your opponent, you will eventually win the game by attacking the core through temples. So everything you can take down in structures manually, just with heroes, is already a win for you. Level 7 now, ready for both sides. And after we've seen the Arcane Intellect on level 4, we're now still seeing the Ice Lance on level 7. Also, Nature's Cure for Malfurion. It was a bit late, but it still got picked now. They're still having ETC trying to go for a bit of an invade down here at the bottom as well, but that camp was already claimed, and Abathur is already trying to push him out. Abathur also with Mule, which really helps, and still sitting at the top side trying to get some body soak going with experience for now. But they're level behind already. 4B1B has taken a 1 level lead, which is pretty good for them. The more they can push before Abathur hits level 10 and allows his team to get copy value, the better. And they are using Sylvanas for exactly that reason. Pushing in again, trying to do as much as they can here. Now on level 7, we're actually seeing the Subdue taken. And since we're also having Sins exposed on level 4, we don't have really any engages through Johanna with the level 4 condemned talents. I mean, you can either go for the cooldown reduction or for the engage, and she went for neither there. Since exposed instead being used. Light is a bit low, eats the owl too, so it gets dropped a little bit more. But the temple is activating now at the bottom of the map, and that's in 10 seconds, and only one team has heroic abilities. That usually means that you have to give this one up. Rayman is trying to take the camp again here with the support of Abathur. And in terms of talents taken, well, Furion is trying to at least hide his choice a little bit. I would highly expect that we're going to see the Twilight Dream again, because so far we've seen Twilight Dream actually very reliably for them in the past there. But with this, let's have a look up there towards the top. Greymane pushing this out. They try and get level 10. Temple already claimed at the bottom. Are they going to try and make the game for it? Doesn't feel like it. I think they're just going to try and get the fort up to the top through the double camp that they're now claiming. Which is actually not really a horrible idea. If you get the double camp going and you bring Greymane onto a structure, he can take those down pretty easily. And since everybody is sitting at the bot lane, that's a good thing. Only Rexa is starting to make his way to the top, and that's a bit of a tricky spot to be in as well. We're having now nearly every single fort eliminated though on the side of Night Pride, and them losing this many structures is a big issue. So this fort at the top is gonna fall. The problem is that every single fort that we're seeing for Night Pride has pretty much fallen already too. But at least it's level 10 versus 10 now, so that's a chance. Yeah, there's still Jojo trying to slow ETC down as he rotates up top. But as long as they stay with the camp and have the spell aura, that's at least something for them. Here comes the fight on the other hand, and they're trying to get the play in. Moshpit has been chosen over the stage dive potentially, and the kill against ETC. Greymane going in and wrecking the cow. Wolf, the natural predator, obviously, against it. And, ooh, that is an aggressive move right there. Alright. They get the kill and they quickly go straight in for the boss. I mean, again, they should be able to get it at this point because ETC is just now coming back. But hell yeah, they are taking a couple of risks already. So that's an early boss that they are taking. And they try and get a little bit more. Yeah, they get Misha, but also with Johanna pushing this out, that wasn't too bad either, zoning everybody in that choke point, and since ETC wasn't there, that was a pretty decent call. I mean, again, it was a little bit of a greedy one, don't get me wrong, it was definitely them taking a bit of a risk, but since they were so quick about making the move, that still worked out, and boy, the invade from the side here, fantastic flank, but the mosh pit, it gets interrupted though, but they're still low, and Johanna dies. She gets the interrupt through. That's all that she can get for now. Everybody else still on the run. The boss doing value at the bottom. Jaina trying to slow everybody down here. Abathur could also have gone to the top a bit earlier to get a bit more soak damage. But they're able to get some serious damage onto the fort at the bottom of the map. So, yeah, not too bad. Night Pride definitely starting to fight back here now. 12 against 12 in experience. The mule gets dropped onto the fort in the middle over and over again, so that helps them to soak some additional shots as those temples get activated once more. But now that they have everybody back to business, they need to try and make a bit of a decision of what they want to do here. Jaina is working on her baseline so that she gets the ice block. Level 13 talents gives us a Soma transference for Greymane. With the control over the temple at the bottom of the map. This one is going to fall eventually, but the mule is going to make sure that a few more of these shots are going to get soaked. And the top lane has been taken in the meantime as well. 4B1B is still ahead on structures, but it is starting to become a bit more clear that Night Pride is definitely here to fight. And with only 22 stacks on Sylvanas level 1, you're not really in a position where she is going to do insane amounts of damage. Yeah, that move away from G-Finger on the other hand, they're a little bit indecisive of where they really want to make their play. And that hesitation in these moments on the macro level could definitely become an issue. 19,000 damage on Jaina, 14,000 damage on Greymane. Abathur sitting only at 10k. They're going for ETC, and that's a kill. Yep, ETC gets taken out. The final few shots are getting soaked by them. And that should be an emulation of the fort here. Should easily move in. I think the objective is not quite going to take it down, but with everybody else being around, they should make this happen easily. And also, Johanna has started to push the mid lane in the meantime. So they're starting to equalize the position on the structures. And that's actually a pretty decent spot for them to be in. Can they get the fort? And the answer is... any second. Yeah, they should get that. And the fort of the bot lane has also been eliminated. So they're definitely getting back into this. Forts, the situation on the map has been pretty much equalized. That wall is still down. That's a slight advantage that we're still seeing for the blue team. But Abathur is getting some side soak, and that means that we have a lead in experience now as well for Nightbride. This is getting close. I mean, again, we are on map number 5. The Legendary Cup here is ending. A bit of a bang. They're trying to make the play for Jojo. Alright, the camp gets still attacked here. All hesitating a little bit. 16 would of course be great. They still want that camp, but here comes the invade. And are they going for it? That's the main question. Do they give it up? Here comes the double Jaina. They're already starting to drop the blizzards as they're moving in from the side, and ETC is already a bit low. Needs to be careful here. And they're just barely moving him out. But the copy has been used, and that's not the only thing. At this point, a couple of heroic abilities have been dropped by Nightbride. 4v1b. Well, they're still losing Misha. That's at least something. 16 is also close. That would be a great talent for them to have. ETC wants the power slide in the mosh pit, but in comes Jojo, and here's Greymane with Abathur, and they get the kill against ETC. They could have gone deeper. I'm actually a bit surprised that they didn't try and go for Malfurion too. Greymane was low, so they tried to pull him back. But there was definitely an argument to be made for trying to drive the momentum a bit further and get additional kills. Get Greymane in, get a second kill, sacrifice the wolf, and then go for that. Instead, we're now seeing them rotating down. They want to try and get a bit more here, and in this case, they go straight for the camp. Boss is going to be up in another minute, so that's not an option at this point. We're having level 16 talents for them, which means Greymane now can benefit also from the adrenaline boost. We're also seeing the numbing blast here. And after they get all of the camps, can try and make the play for the temples now. There is a lot of momentum, and especially with Abathur being able to help down the bot lane push, he could really just keep those two siege giants alive for a bit longer and assist the two that have not just been taken. There's Jojo already in play. With level 16, we're now also seeing the imposing presence. Again, the Will of the Forsaken, plus obviously paint them red. Jaina moves out as they were trying to go in for her. Greymane left alone at the bot lane. Should go into Worgen form here, and he gets that. That's a bit of an interesting one. Ildeon is moving back as they're trying to go for the fight, but he is definitely helping out there. And Abathur could assist with that too. There's a camp at the top lane that has to be, well, at some point at least taken care of. But Greymane is just going. Greymane is saying like, boys, I don't care. I have an Abathur head on top of me. I can go for that keep. They can try and make that play. Rek'Sai is the one that is trying to stop him here. But obviously there's a few other points on the map that are also highly contested. And especially the top lane is starting to become a bit of an issue. That wall has already fallen at the keep, so they need to rotate someone over. Greymane starting to escape, but one temple has been completely soaked now by the blue team. Now the bot lane pressure has opened the wall up. That's definitely true. And they're dealing with it with the situation at the top. Abathur can now drop the mule in the middle to at least restore one of the two towers, but nobody rotates towards the temple. Despite the fact, well, they're seeing actually at the bot lane what's going on here. Oh god, this could be rough. Yep, everybody rotates in. They leave the top lane B for now. Here comes the boss. This is the fight. And there comes the immediate kill attempt against ETC. But they get the boss. No, they don't. They get him. The boss is taken. They mess it up a little bit. Sylvanas and ETC are both down, but they get the boss. The double kill, the top lane value still. Abathur comes in and is going to try and help out here and has to drop the mule too. Down at the bottom, they're still getting the kill against Misha. We're already having Greymane on the move. 6 kills against 2, and he just doesn't help them. They're still about to lose the temple up at the top, and that keep is getting attacked right now. And despite the fact that they have taken down 2 heroes, they're likely going to lose the keep if Malfurion stays longer. But he moves back. He doesn't want to risk this, not with everybody starting to rotate in for it. Another 4 seconds until the 2 heroes are back, but damn. No 16 still, by the way, for Rexa. He still hasn't taken it. Normally, Feigned Death is claimed here. Abathar has to repair 2 keeps now. The one at the top and the one at the bottom has taken some damage too. And here comes again the move. 10 seconds until Abathar is back. They need to go for this. Honestly, if they don't want to lose the top keep, they have to make a play here. And right now, Greymane is starting to move back into the middle. They're apparently looking to get level 20. Storm Talents would help them, and they're sacrificing the top keep. This game is going down to the wire, everybody. I mean, we are on the final map, and they are really starting to play around this. They are really taking a lot of risks here. They have the kill lead, 6 kills against 2. But Night Pride is definitely in a spot where they're losing out on objectives and they're losing out on structures now. 36,000 damage from Jaina. Abathar has only 20,000. And there's a camp taken again by Eldeon down at the bottom of the map now. He definitely gets the siege damage in since he's always focusing on those camps. 24,000 damage for him too. Only 2 kills were against Johanna, and level 20 is now soon going to be in. The problem is, what do you do with the 20? Where do you go now? Storm Talents are there. What's the play? Wintermute is in. They're going also for Hive Mind. They have now Blinded by the Light instead of the Indestructible. And this is really the moment when... Oh, he sees Jaina. Yeah, but this is the moment when you have to try and make a play. You can take Misha down first. That would be a start. But trying and get the keep at the bot lane is a bit of a minimum. I'm surprised that they're not trying to push this harder. They have a camp at the top lane where Abathar can also push it out. But if they don't make a play right now, then they will lose the big advantage that they have at this point, and they're trying to make that play. They're already starting to move in. Sylph is at the top, trying to help out here, which means 3 heroes are dealing with this, and this is the attack. This is where Greymane has to come in. He is so quick on the damage against structures, and he's already trying to raise it down, easy peasy. And they're going to get this. The keep is definitely going to fall. They have the level 20 talent. Can they get more? That's the question. And they already start to move back. Keep down, 1 on each side. Very similar situation now in structures again. Still the advantage through the level 20 talent, and they're moving into the middle. If they can take a bit more here, they're trying to go for the camp. The next temple is going to be at the bottom of the map. They're going straight in and they're going to get this. The blue team is not going to fight for this. It definitely is going to come down to another big fight here. But right now, with a bit of pressure top lane, if they can take more structures down, that would really help them with the objective in the long run. And that's what they're trying to do here. But 20 is close now. Now you need to be careful. With 20 this close, this can backfire. They get the damage against ETC though, and he slides out, and that's 2 of the towers eliminated. And they're starting to push through this. They have the added structure advantage now. And they also have, of course, in this case, the spell aura. Yep, there comes the damage against the keep, hence the fort. Abathar has healed out the bottom, can drop another mule over here in the middle, and they're starting to make the rotation right now. 20 on both sides at this point. 20 on both sides. The kill command in play. Sylvanas with the added silence. And it looks like they're setting up the trap. They're setting up the trap, and it gets scouted out. ETC with a slide and the mosh pit, and there's no interrupt. Down they go, and the turbas, and that could be it. The triple kill, the quad kill, and they nearly go for a 5-man team wipe, with the exception of the little slugger up at the top, but they took the copy down too. There's the pings already, and they are on their way to victory right now. 50 seconds on the death timers. ETC with a mosh pit with the turbas. He just catches all of them. There was no interrupt, absolutely nothing, nada, zip niente, and now they're going for the big win here. They were down 0-2 and now 4v1v. They try to crown themselves the champions of the Legendary Cup by going straight for the reverse sweep here. Night Pride was ahead with 2-0, but 4v1v, they win 3 games in a row and take the victory. GG and well played as the blue team makes the reverse sweep a reality and takes the championship in this last game on Sky Temple.